you are behind those signs, right? We are really pleased to have you with us this afternoon and anxious to hear what you're doing in Geneva, so please share with us.
What does it mean to be uniquely urban?
What does it take for a city to support all its residents?
Especially the most vulnerable.
How can a small city evolve into something vibrant and flourishing?
What can a community do to create an environment that nourishes and sustains?
How are stereotypes smashed through empowerment?
How can a once stagnant community thrive?
How do challenges become opportunities?
Like many other communities in America, Geneva is a city with challenges. Education, economic development, safe, affordable neighborhoods. What sets Geneva apart is our approach to those challenges.
When I moved to Geneva, it was a broke little city with a declining population, a poverty rate higher than the state average, and over 80% of downtown storefronts were empty. But I soon fell in love with Geneva. Not its beautiful landscapes or picturesque buildings, but with the community.
Just over a decade ago, I lived in Geneva, just outside the heart of downtown. But Geneva was branded by negative perceptions. We had crime, drugs, stereotypes, so we moved away. In 2010, the graduation rate for Geneva City Schools was 70%, with a disproportionate number of our economically disadvantaged youth not receiving their high school diploma. I could see that we had an opportunity in front of us to ensure school success for every student. We needed to find a way to harness the unity and collective possibility of our community.
Among its strategic imperatives for success, City Council has identified talent capitalization. We rely heavily on the collective impact of our corporate and not-for-profit partners and upon the enthusiasm, community pride, and innovation of our residents. Today, we share some of our success stories with you.
With key leadership from our local college, we pulled together leaders from all across Geneva, including business, government, higher education, not-for-profit organizations, faith-based organizations, and of course our school district, to create Geneva 2020, which has now blossomed into a cradle-to-career partnership and its network with other important initiatives across our state and the country.
Growth, community, belonging.
We all seek it. However, if you're in the wrong place, growth isn't possible. After years of living elsewhere, my husband and I both started working in Geneva. And the more time we spent in the city, the more our heart yearned to call it home. What happened in that time that I was gone?
Neighborhoods!
11 neighborhoods were identified in Geneva so that residents could be empowered to take on opportunities for growth and improvement. Residents have stepped up as leaders to help be in their neighborhood, rallying to beautify parks, organize curb appeal projects, start community garden, and host great events. I started working at the Geneva Neighborhood Resource Center, and we moved back to Geneva so that we could be a part of what was taking place.
For the past decade, hundreds of people are working incredibly hard across Geneva to make it the city we want it to be. Inclusive, vibrant, and enriching for all its citizens.
Geneva 2020 highlights the potential in partnership, and it's a grassroots effort that mobilizes our community to turn challenges into success stories for our K-12 students. The first three goals are to improve the graduation rate, strengthen literacy at the elementary school level, and emphasize college to career readiness.
The transformation of Geneva has been amazing. The fact that we've been nominated to be an All-America City is evidence we're already winning. How many towns have their Burger King go out of business, yet 40 independently, locally owned dining establishments survive and thrive? The tenacity of Geneva's entrepreneurs is amazing. Today, we're part of a single empty storefront downtown.
In fact, my family moved right into the heart of downtown. Our neighborhood is so full of energy. We finally have a place to call home, and we have so much pride in our community.
The key to our success is self-reliance. We're not waiting for some major industry to come to our rescue. We're rescuing ourselves. We've realized that Geneva's future, its economic and social growth, can only be achieved and sustained if we harness our natural resources, especially Geneva's youth, its local businesses, and its artists.
As a musician who was born and raised in Geneva, I was looking for ways to use music to build community. So I created the Two Herons Drum Circle. And the mission was simple: use percussion to promote positive rhythms and actions within and beyond Geneva. We partnered with the city, the Geneva Neighborhood Resource Center, and the UG Collective, a local nonprofit, to bring our interactive musical experience to schools, nursing homes, workplaces, community residences, the lakefront, and downtown streets.
Several years ago, I began a grassroots movement called Love Geneva, partly a shop local initiative, partly a morale booster, partly a vehicle for encouraging the arts. The project has been enormously successful. We've helped start a monthly art crawl, Geneva Night Out, that has become the symbol of our city's revitalization. Today, you can't drive down a single street without seeing a Love Geneva bumper sticker. Clearly, I'm not the only citizen in love with Geneva.
Through Geneva 2020, our community has agreed that failure is not an option, which is why I love Geneva. With the graduation rate jumping from below 60% at the turn of the 21st century to 84.8% in Geneva High School. And the power that Geneva 2020 brings together in honor of our youth shows the capability of the collective impact model to harness the strengths of Geneva.
In Geneva, we,
The citizens, nonprofit groups, city,
And school officials.
And artists, business owners.
are working hard together to find solutions that work for us. Because we all love Geneva, not just the city, but the people that make it so great.
From a small town where people don't get along, if it's not about the money, they fighting over the drugs. Everybody throwing salt at Geneva was full of slugs. Every question got answered, but this nigga giving me shrugs. Living in a town where there ain't no future. Wanna be drug dealers and wanna be straight shooters. We ask a lot of people like, what is making you do this? Keep it 100 with you, I bet you they looking clueless. Let me tell you a story, I'm 17. With a lot of potential, I'm always chasing my dreams. It's time to go take a ride, so buckle up in your seat. I'm a panther, I'm full of pride, so I'm making with a Jeep. Jeep town finest. And my city shining brighter than some diamonds. I'm a panther with the heart of a lion. Throwing dirt on my tongue is like dying. I'm back at it with money and mathematics. Let me take a crack at it. The trophy, I gotta have it. I've been drinking since a kid for Geneva. I do it big. Do a 5 until I die. Should get a 10 on my wrist. I'm back at it with money and mathematics. Let me take a crack at it. The trophy, I gotta have it. I've been drinking since a kid for Geneva. I do it big. Do a 5 until I die. Should get a 10 on my wrist.
This is the city where the stars cut through the black, flying beautifully, flying beautifully. So if you see a flower growing through the cracks, let it live for me, let it live for me.
You and I, strapped up boots in the city by the lake, in a place where you
Surprise,
bright street lights, no stars in the night, we can make it. You rush, why? Life's not real as it seems, so away from your dreams, see truth is lies. How can it be? I can see first day of my life, and you can turn the corner looking for a new mistake, or you can try to look for God inside a super great, or you can feel his touch, or look for her reflection, but I may never see my city for a new confession. Brick walls, I can't believe. Jesus Christ, roll up your sleeves. For concrete dreams, I'll sleep again. For peace, how long can we pretend? You sick lullabies that are told in your eyes. Untamed love, sick, holding you high. You took a bite of your golden reply. Do I love you or the hole in the sky? Don't close your hand, I don't want us together. Don't close your eyes in the beautiful weather. No memory, January, December, and all these cold faces that I can't remember.
this is the city where the stars cut through the black, flying beautifully, flying beautifully. So if you see a flower growing through the cracks, let it live for me, let it live for me.
I woke up from a strange dream, Seneca Lake scene, the wind blowing on my back down an Exchange Street. The city makes beats, graffiti side streets, lakeside, cool cat cooling down from the heat. Fresh quarter students, local for me and you, the farm, the table meal is here is trying to chisel with you, the local for, then you need look no more. Local wine scene, farmers market got more and slow, live music, art shows, late night wind blows, old men dominoes, young men fast flows, late night and early morning, place I was raised and born, hard work, spending time, dope men and dope rhymes. I remember seeing the Brooks Sound, Smith, and watching the sunset straight from an eastern cliff. Gym class heroes, they were jamming at the whale watch. Whole crew was there, they were rocking like hot spots. We're all American, Geneva City stand. Everybody's got a chance, get into a common plan. American city, working hard and showing true grit. Working for us great, and my city is down with it. We kneel and we pray with it, praying and availing it. Sun at the time, mind oh yeah, we feeling it. Oh yeah, we shining now, showing all these cities how believing in the future, getting brighter and brighter now.
This is the city where the stars cut through the black, flying beautifully.
cracking the concrete, Geneva is a city full of tenacity.
We are beautiful.
Historical.
And uniquely urban.
We are 14456. We are Geneva!
No!
Geneva! No! No! Geneva! No! Geneva! No! No! Geneva!
That was wonderful. And now I know why you love Geneva and why we should love it too. So I know this panel will have some questions for you. I believe, Gail, you raised your hand first.
I did. First of all, wow. That was a powerful presentation. I love Geneva too, Mike. That was great. I was really impressed by the impact statement you have in terms of the 41.3% increase in graduation rates and the increase in, there are no unoccupied storefronts. Those are huge changes to have happen in a city, a small city. I'd like to know, to borrow from my colleague's statement, at least what is the magic sauce in terms of the graduation rates? What's going on in those schools? To what do you attribute that kind of improvement? Was it the teachers? What happened there? Mentors?
Yeah, well, Katie Flowers is here. She's from the Office of Civic Engagement at Hobart William Smith. And as she noted, the Geneva 2020 program was what's called a collective impact program. And the general idea, and I see some heads nodding out there, the general idea is that there is no one secret ingredient, right? There's a ton of people around the table rolling up our sleeves and tackling the problem. But I'll let first Seamus talk a little bit about, this is Seamus Hogan. He's a 9th grader, rising to be a 10th grader. And Seamus, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what drove you.
In Geneva, we, for a long time, struggled to get kids to go to school, which is a huge problem if you want to get high graduation rates. And we have great educators like my English teacher here, Mr. Shama. He's the best teacher I've ever had. He started a hip-hop club a couple years ago, which gets kids, at-risk young men especially, like myself, Trejan. We come to hip-hop club after school, and you've got kids who, for no other reason, are coming to school, except on Fridays to be at Mr. Shama's hip-hop club to express themselves, express their love for music, and we've created a culture of getting kids to school, getting kids to class, getting kids involved in the community.
Just one thing I wanted to add is in the English department, we've decided instead of just having the traditional English course, 9, 10, 11, 12, and maybe the pre-AP opportunities there, we've created a whole handful of electives from Intro to Philosophy, children's literature, Holocaust literature, minority literature. So the walls of the community, or the walls of the school are porous, and the students see themselves in what's being taught in the schools. So it's not just go there, get your regents, and read old, dead white people. There's an opportunity for them to read and see their own face in the authors they read and analyze.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna keep it short. Hip Hop Club is the only reason why I graduated.
Trejan Mills is graduating senior this year in a couple of weeks. Next week.
Christine, I believe you have a question.
I think we all have fallen in love with Geneva, so congratulations. And just, this was not my question, this is a side. Leave it to a teacher to figure out how to do this. Your neighborhood strategy is so innovative. Who initiated that who commissioned that initial study? And now that you have the 11 neighborhoods, which I imagine have distinct needs and opportunities, how do you knit them together as well?
So Julie Anderson's here. She works in the Geneva Neighborhood Resource Center, which is the core of that delivery program. It was initiated in 2008 when we had a great, basically market analyst. We put out an RFP like everybody does for a housing study. And we had
And the city put
the city
out that
did,
RFP.
yes, the city of Geneva did. And we got 7 responses, and 6 of them are the same 6 responses you'll get if you put out an RFP for housing strategy. You know, the same, put banners up, have festivals, give grants for small improvements, and we saw all those, and we kind of thought, well, we knew those answers already. Then we had a seventh group come in from Virginia and really laid it out for us. This is a market issue in Geneva. And the first step, some of Geneva's harshest critics are its own people. And so the first step was community pride building, where it will take. And so different strategies for different neighborhoods. Start in the neighborhoods where you can move the needle through community pride building, and then get to physical infrastructure improvements, but effectively just moving the middle. Julie, I'm going to talk a little bit about how those neighborhood associations have evolved and kind of taken a life of their own.
Absolutely. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You can't solve all the issues in Geneva at one time, but each of the neighborhoods are so uniquely urban from one to the other that it's the residents who live in those neighborhoods that know what the challenges are, that know what the strengths are. They're the ones who come together. They're the ones who help other residents through curb appeal projects and starting community gardens where they're needed. So the residents themselves are actually answering and finding solutions to the problems. They're not saying to the city, you need to solve this. They're saying to the city, how can you help us solve our problems? Which is how
we also implemented this concept we call the black box, which is basically everything that, every product or service or program that we deliver, we look at it through the lens of the neighborhood. So we're going to go into Hildreth Hill with a program. Are we doing something for Hildreth Hill? Is it something they even asked for? Or are we doing something to Hildreth Hill that's going to be a burden on the community? And so whether it's foot patrols for police, whether it's park improvements, capital improvement planning, that whole process goes right through that black box to say, how do we deliver it at a neighborhood level where the residents can be engaged? Sorry. I probably shouldn't be right.
Alberto, you want to go next?
You partially answered this, but looking at your descriptions and your applications, they seem like wonderful programs. So my question was more on like the Geneva 2020 and the downtown revitalization. How do you objectively assess the successfulness or the effectiveness of those programs beyond the qualitative and anecdotal stuff?
Kevin Dunn's here, who can speak about what he's seen kind of transformationally, but I can tell you from a data perspective, the way that we've handled the downtown analysis was in 2008, we did a downtown survey. We went building to building, looked at first floor vacancy, how many vacant spots did we have, talked to the property owners, what's the rhythm of leads? Are you hearing from people? Are you not hearing from people? If you're hearing from people, why not? And we start to target strategies that way. But the biggest thing, you're going to feel a theme here. The biggest thing is the building owners and the business owners themselves kind of coming forward and saying the momentum's happening.
Yeah, and the downtown revitalization has been amazing. It's remarkable. So anecdotally, I can just tell you stories about how it used to be an empty downtown. We were a city of 20,000. We shrunk to 13,000, right? So we still have a lot of businesses that are now empty because how do you fill those, right? And anecdotally, we can say we know the numbers are going up, right? What's pushing that is the community, right? There is a focused shop, local, focusing on the businesses that are there, bringing businesses in, right? Not the big industries, but the small entrepreneurs. One of our successes is getting Geneva youth who have graduated from high school, have gone off to college, and they're coming back and they're feeling the energy and they're like, I want to come home. I want to open up a business. We have John Eads comes back and opens Veer Sandals. We are manufacturing shoes in Geneva. Talk about bucking a national trend, right? And how we're doing that is the energy. The city is a cheerleader. The people are pushing it forward. And so an anecdote, last Christmas, the holiday season, we had a shop local spend half of your holiday shopping downtown, right? It's very simple, right? We saw tax revenue for the fourth quarter go up 40% from the year before. Was that all due to the focused shopping? Maybe not, but we'll take as much credit as possible because that's a huge, huge impact for the small local business owners downtown.
So Kevin hit on a quantitative piece there. We get regular reporting on sales tax generation and how it happens inside the city of Geneva. For years, we've opted into this county's sales tax distribution formula because frankly there was no activity in Geneva. Over the last 3 years, we've been doing regular quarterly analysis to see where are we against previous quarter, but where are we against our peers, our neighbors. And Geneva was kind of, the please help us community for a long time. And in the last 5 years, we've seen Geneva giving back to Ontario County by virtue of the sales tax. But I don't want to miss the opportunity to address the Geneva 2020 qualitative questions.
Just briefly, I just wanted to mention quantitative. So for literacy, we were looking at, it's easy to say, let's rally together, this is really important, but we knew that we needed to back it up with a shared data metric system. So we worked with Success for Geneva's Children, which was founded about 10 years ago, and we used that data. From that, we realized that the information we had was very different from the county, from the state. So third grade reading is what we hone in on. We use the measurements from the Strive initiative out of Cincinnati, which is partnered with SUNY Cradle to Career with SUNY Chancellor Nancy Zimpher, where graduation rate is 90%. That's the metric that we're striving towards, and we strategically work towards that. For career readiness, as a college, we bring every 2nd, 6th, and 9th grader to campus for a developmentally appropriate program for college exposure. And with local businesses, for career readiness, we partner for a job shadow program. We do before, pre, and post tests to make sure that students realize STEM careers, I could stay here if I want to. Whatever the opportunity may be, Geneva is where they could choose to live if they want to stay, and we hope they do.
Thank you, Geneva. We've got questions left on the table, but they've been holding a sign up for me. Great stories. And probably one of the things you said almost at the very beginning is you all took the vision of what could be instead of what was. And so many times communities get locked into what it is, and they don't see what it could be. And obviously you all are very, very good at seeing the potential. I was going to suggest that you rappers go on the road, but since you're a school teacher, you better stay where you are. And you look as young as the other two, so that's pretty amazing. But this, you're the last group today, and we got one more? All right. Asheboro's going to kill him. Asheboro's going to... Not anybody in this room to tell Asheboro I think you're locked in, because I want to hear what they have to say too. But you hit on the whole secret of community building, which is really tough work, is that you turned it over to the people. And when the people decided what they needed for their community, then they'll go for it if you give them a chance. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.